The wait is over. The wait is over. You can calm down. The most anticipated show of 2026, Ricky Gervais, Alleycats. Oh, it's here. Man, I can really only imagine how the pitch meeting went for this show. It must have been absolutely insane with Ricky Gervais going to Netflix headquarters and just being all like, "Hello, love. You ready for my pitch meeting?" "Yes, Mr. Gervais. We've been waiting so long." "All right, Lil. Let me read you the first couple lines from Alleycats." Meow. 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 And then they all are just like, "Yes! Oh, God, that's better than Inside Job! Yeah!" And then they greenlit it for 2 seasons right away. And I would like to say, I don't know if this show is good or bad yet. I just saw a bunch of cats and Ricky Gervais, and I didn't have a lot of hopes for it. But either way, going into it with an open mind, I hope it's decent, but if it's bad, I'll let you know. If you like content like this, like, subscribe, you know the drill. Let's get into it. Alright, so I just finished episode 1 of Alleycats, and I honestly don't know how to feel. I feel irrational in a way. I feel somber, I feel melodramatic, I feel disappointed, and I feel comforted. It's like if I experience something extremely traumatic, and I'm like, and so I run outside, and I'm like, "Where's my hug at?" Because, you know, I just went through some trauma. I need some help. Somebody hug me. Where's my hug at? And the only person around is a really obese man. I'm talking like 900 pounds. And there's like an earthquake as he walks over to me, and he stretches it wide like, and, you know, I'm sad. I need some help. So I go in, and it's a little stinky. So I'm disappointed. But at the same time, it's comfort nonetheless. So I guess I feel a little bit better. That's how I would describe this show. The comedy is very one-dimensional. If you find cats funny, you're gonna kind of enjoy it, but it also kind of sucks in that regard as well. I don't know, it's just missing a lot. So, Ricky Gervais cat show. What's going on in the show? So it opens with them just yapping for like the first 3 minutes while sitting on a couch, just like, "Oh yeah, love, I hate humans, I hate robots, I hate this stupid world." And then one cat's like, oh, but you know what I like eating poo.
I've eaten his
Yeah, lapped it all up, didn't you?
Yeah, big old lump. Loved it.
All gone. Yum, yum.
And Ricky Gervais is like, "Oh, I bet you do, you dumb f***. You like eating and shoving down lots of poop." So, yeah, I kinda was immediately off put by the show when the first bits of comedy involved cats eating shit, which I can never really understand why that's a main focus with so many shows that involve animals. I get it. Animals like to sometimes eat feces. Do we really need to make that one of the most iconic jokes of your show? One of the first jokes you're gonna tell in your first episode? Like, why? There's so many other cat things you could discuss, and the first thing you know, you're like, "Man, I remember one time I saw a cat eat some feces." Gee whiz, that's brilliant, love. That's brilliant. God, we should make a show called Alleycats just so that we can talk about cats eating feces and poop. This will be absolutely delightful, love. Like, why? Why are we even bothering? So they yap for a while, and then they decide that they're hungry, so they go to a graveyard. Didn't really understand that one, but they're just all yapping and whatnot. And then they start talking about how they would want to die, and the cat who likes to eat poop, he's just all like, "Hey, Parkinson's. Oh, what about a hand job? A hand job and then Parkinson's." Alright? The comedy really isn't that good. Like, the majority of their jokes just fall so unbelievably flat, but I don't really know what to expect from this show. At the same time, I'm kind of fascinated by their conversations. If their goal is to get me to laugh, they are failing spectacularly. The one thing that actually got me to laugh was them asking this cat who is playing a moron, a dumb little feline, and she's all like, "Well, if I was gonna die, you know, I would climb all the way up to the highest building and I would jump off." And then Ricky Gervais is all like, "What, you got 9 lives, love, you would just land on your feet." And she's all like, "Well, I would jump off 10 times then."
So the 10th time I jump off, I'm gone.
Yeah, but you haven't used any of your lives when you land, because you just land on your feet anyway.
That got me to smile and give you a good old one of these. You know? Like, that was decent. That was a fun cat joke, I guess. So then, the cat that likes eating poop said he wanted a hand job in Parkinson's. He then proceeds to go on the grave of this dead man and take a big, mean old stinky pile of poo.
Just cold in the ground, mate. All this shit will warm him up then, won't it? Oh.
Yep. So, I guess I'm supposed to be thrilled and excited. I guess I'm supposed to be laughing at that one. I don't know. It's again just that philosophy of we're making a show about cats and cats go to the bathroom. So let's put a lot of emphasis on that, which is just weird. So then a kitten shows up, a random kitten who has lost their home, and initially Ricky Gervais is all like, oh, wow, look at this thing. What the hell is that? Well, let's kill it and eat it. And then another cat's like, no, let's help it. And then all of a sudden, like genuinely, I actually thought that it was kind of memeing. I didn't think they were going to have a whole montage with this. I didn't think that they would just skip to this. But all of a sudden, it just goes, and I need you, and I miss you, and now I wonder if I could fall into the sky. Do you think time would pass me by? 'Cause you know I'd walk 1,000 miles if I could just see you tonight. Yeah, they start playing that song like genuinely out of nowhere as the cats just begin to walk. And this is where I'm getting like that somber feeling. Like I'm watching a cat take a big old mean stinky dump. Some of the worst dialogue comedy I have ever heard, other than a cat saying, oh, well, if I'll waste all my 9 lives and jump off the building a 10th time. Only thing that got me to laugh, by the way. And then all of a sudden, it just starts playing. It just starts playing 1,000 miles as they start walking. I genuinely felt like I was in a fever dream, but I was all for it, I guess. So the cats are walking, and then we actually get some funny cat stuff instead of just, look at the cat, it's pissing. Oh, look at the cat, it's pooping. A cucumber falls out of a delivery truck, and then they're all scared of it because they think it's a snake. And I'm like, I'm an easy man to please. Cats being scared of cucumbers, how silly and funny. I don't know, it still didn't give me a laugh, but I was like, oh, geez, I love cats. They're getting scared by a cucumber? That's so silly. And then one of the cats starts pissing aggressively.
I'm a cat, actually, and I piss where I like. Shows territory. Oh.
Peeing all over the floor. There's a little piss here, all over the floor. Says he's marking his territory. The piss spreads all the way over to the cucumber, and I'm like, woo! Yes! Oh my god! They did something that cats are typically associated with, being afraid of snakes and cucumbers. And then they were all like, oh, you know what we need, love? You know, it would actually absolutely spice up this scene. I understand the cats are afraid of cucumbers. I don't think the audience would like this if we didn't also involve the cat taking a big stinky piss. Like, I think that genuinely makes the scene so much better. That's what they did. And then we get to my second laugh in the episode. Laugh number 2. The big laugh. They are walking once again. And I need you. And they stumble upon a windowsill. And on this windowsill is a potted plant. A potted plant. What do you think that little feline's gonna do when he sees a potted plant? Do you think something's gonna happen? Well, the cat's all like, do you mind if I hop up here real quick? And he hops up there. Can you guess what he did? He knocks the pot off of the window.
Good work.
Yeah, nice one.
And yeah, it's great because that's what cats do. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Is it worth creating an entire show for? I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed that one single bit. And then the ending is very somber and peaceful. There's not really any other jokes. They're walking, and then Ricky Gervais' cat is all like, hey, yo, Ralphie, come over here, man. I gotta talk to you. And Ralphie, this cat across the street, starts walking and then immediately gets hit by a car, gets blasted, and dies right away. Yep.
And it just gets very peaceful after that. You have the kitten contemplating and trying to understand the ideology of death and what that means, trying to comfort the dead cat. That was very interesting. And then going home and you see the Ricky Gervais cat slowly start to want to be friends with the kitten a little bit more. I don't really know how far this show is able to go in me wanting to watch episodes, because the majority of times I have to admit I am just bored. There isn't a lot going on. Their conversations are sometimes fascinating, but usually it feels like it's building and building and building to what is supposedly going to be a good joke, and then it just falls flat. But at the same time, I somehow feel peaceful while watching it. Not everything has to be the most hilarious show in the world, but I don't know the message that this show is trying to convey. I just feel so lost watching it. Either way, if I was to rate this 1 out of 10, I haven't done that in a while, I would give this a solid 5. 5 out of 10. Had some interesting introspections into a life of a cat, a stray cat that is. Had a couple of cat jokes that I laughed, literally a couple too. And everything else wasn't that great. But 5 out of 10, it's not like I was having a horrible time. Alright, so I just finished episode 2, and I gotta be 1000% honest. If you told me that Ricky Gervais got all of his friends together, got in a room, forced them all to dress up like cats, and they all just started LARPing and role-playing, just a little bit of, oh yeah, love, I'm a cat now, oh, you're a cat too, you're a cat too, and then they all just started drinking excessively heavily as cats and produced this show, I would believe you. Because this is such a mixed bag. And again, it's really not bad in a sense. It just feels like it doesn't know what it wants to do. Sometimes it's deep and introspective, and other times it's just 5 minutes of the cats just being all like, oh, you know, fucking spiders. I don't like spiders. Oh, those guys with their cobwebs. I'll sit around them, love. I'll sit around the spiders so that the second that they build the damn web, oh, I'll take it down. I'll take it down. I don't like spiders. And that's a genuine conversation that they have in this episode for like a solid minute about spiders and their webs and their cats, and it just genuinely, it feels like improv in a way, and if that's what you wanted to do, that's what you wanted to do. But again, it just feels like, meow meow, I want to be a cat, let's all lob together as kitties, as little kitty cats, let's do it, because it's so odd. The episode opens with this fancy cat walking in, and they immediately make fun of him, so he says, charming. And so for a solid minute, they just goes, this guy's opening with charming, this twat opening with charming this early in the morning. And that's like a theme that they just have going on. Anytime this cat says anything, they just start roasting him because he lives a pampered lifestyle, which I guess, you know, if your friend is richer than you gotta make fun of him a little bit, but you know, it kind of feels like the same thing over and over again. And so they start talking about him going to the vet, and they're all like, oh, you get a thermometer up your ass? Yeah, you like that? And the cat's all like, actually, I don't really prefer the penetration, but if I must. Yeah, okay. So they all continue their search for the kitten's house, which they have yet to find, and they stumble upon this old cat who I really didn't think was going to have any relevance in the episode, but he does later. They find this old cat, and he's just like, oh, hello, and then he just immediately walks across the street after they say hi. And then they see more cats. They see this beautiful woman cat, and the Ricky Gervais cat's all like, oh, hello, but from afar. So they start saying that Ricky Gervais cat's afraid of the girl cat's boyfriend, and that's where the spider conversation comes in. He's like, I'm not scared of nothing, you know, spiders are stupid, I'm not scared of spiders, little 8-legged fox, little 8-legged little bitches, I'm not scared of them at all, bruv.
8 legs and 10 eyes the cunts have got. That's why.
Creature, man.
In it, I don't care about those spiders. Yeah, so they do that for a while. and they keep on talking about fears. And the reason I'm going so into detail about what they're talking about, it's because it's all they do. Like, the show, animation-wise, doesn't really try a lot. It has some beautiful scenes, especially if they focus on the music and just let it all play out, kind of giving you the vibe of just being a cat in a town, which is a cool feeling, but then it's also always interrupted with, well, you know what's really bad? It's awful. It's awful to be drenched in some water. And then the poop feces cat, yes, the poop monster, he says something I could have never predicted. You know what's worse than being drenched in water? Having a big old elephant piss on you.
What? Elephant pissing on you.
What? Why is it pissing on you?
It does.
Yep. This is why I'm saying it's like they're LARPing in a room getting drunk. None of these things feel like a actual human being could have written this down to paper and told a voice actor to say this. I like, genuinely, if you told me that this was all improv, I would believe you, because I don't know what's going on. So because they hear the word elephant, they immediately are all like, let's go kill a fat kid, which kind of got me to chuckle because it was so out of nowhere that they just want to go and murder a big old fatty. So that was interesting. So they're all just sitting on a fence for a while, like a very long time. Again, just yapping. At first they're talking about humans in mental institutions. Then they're talking about how they don't understand numbers. 2 + 2, what the fuck is that? What is that? And they're talking about that. And then they see a really fat kid finally after like literally 3 minutes of just yapping nonstop, yappity yappity yap. And I'm thinking, okay, well, it's finally here. It's been built up. I'm ready for them to do something. So Ricky Gervais' cat, he sees him. He calls it a plastic bag full of chum, yeah? Which, that's a new one. I couldn't imagine a little chubby child walking towards me and I look at him and say, a plastic bag full of chum. Woo! And so Ricky Gervais' cat jumps at him, and the kid just like bounces him off, and they cause a car accident. And it sounds like it would be actually a pretty interesting scene. It would have repercussions. It would be animated well, but it's over in the span of like 8 seconds, and they just immediately move on. Like, it was the most mild build up that I've ever seen to something after them literally talking about attacking a fat kid for like 3 solid minutes. Then they're walking again, and this is why the progression of the show is so weird. They see Pete, and he's in a kettle, and they're like, oh, Pete, what are you doing? He's like, I'm gonna die. It's time for me to die. Oh, I guess we'll see you guys on the other side then. And then Pete gets taken away because he's gonna go and get euthanized. That was actually kind of sad. And then they just immediately downgrade everything. It's literally Ricky Gervais' cat being all like, sorry kid, we're all in a bummer mood. You think we could look for your house later? I think we all need some silence. And then the prim and proper cat's all like, you don't know how to do math. You don't know how to do math. Because the kitten was asking how old it will end up being, how long it will live. And he just immediately starts roasting Ricky Gervais' cat for thinking about it for too long. Which kind of immediately downplayed the death of old Pete, which was odd. And then they start talking about snails. I feel like I'm in a fever dream. They're walking, and it's after they see old Pete going to die. It hasn't been that much time. And then they start talking about snails, and they're like, what about snails? You think I like snails? You think, what am I going to put a snail up to my ear? What am I going to hear? Do you think I'm going to have a conversation with a snail, bruv?
Do you know you've spoken to one?
No, I haven't spoken to one. There's no point because I ain't got any
They got no chat, have they? They've got no chat.
No bants.
Yeah, I'm going to have a conversation with a snail. They talk about that for like 2 minutes. I don't know. Like, it's not bad, again. It's just baffling because they like randomly have these stupid conversations and then put in something that's super deep and introspective, like a cat dying, them all trying to deal with it, the kitten processing what death is, and then they're just like, oh, snails, yeah? You know, I actually like snails. You know what's another animal that you can talk about when we're talking about this stuff, bruv? I like tortoises. And then the poo cat's all like, yeah, well, you ever have a dirty, nasty coitus with a tortoise? You ever pound a tortoise and get that tortoise and all of a sudden going, meow, meow? yeah, I don't know. The conversations are pretty wild, and then it's immediately back to the deep introspective stuff when they go home and the kitten's all like, oh, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to not exist. And Ricky Gervais is all like, well, it's not like you're not going to exist. You'll be alive in the memories of your friends and the things that you did, which is a great message to cap off the episode, but gee whiz, the 17 minutes that it takes to get there is a wild and rocky journey of some of the stupidest that I've ever heard, and then you add in some actually deep and cool stuff, followed up by some stuff that doesn't matter, and then bringing it back around to stuff that does matter. It is a very relaxing experience in a way. I don't really feel like this is necessarily a comedy to me. I mean, if you laugh at this, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't, like, think you're weird. I wouldn't think it. I think you could love this show. I think you could give it 10 out of 10 stars if you love their witty banter back and forth about just everyday life stuff. It really does feel improvisational, the things that they decide to talk about, but it's just personally not my cup of tea. Half the time, it's really boring to me. Sometimes they say something interesting, but it's really just British people going, oh yeah, I fucking suck at math. Oh no, I suck at math. These snails, I don't like snails. Snails, I hate snails. God, spiders, I would beat a spider, slap a spider. Like, if you like listening to that, you'd probably thoroughly enjoy this. Personally, I'm checking out a little bit. I'll give it one more episode probably to give a full take. Episode 3 opens in pretty much the same exact way. This show does not strive away from being the stupidest, dumbest conversations you could ever have, and also being really deep and introspective. We have the fancy, prim and proper cat whose name is Pawn showing up once again, and upon seeing him because he's groomed, he has been deballed, mind you. They just start making fun of him. They're just like, oh, but we got him. Ho, ho, we got him. Oh, yeah, we got him. I feel like I'm watching Polar Express where except instead of hot chocolate, they have testicles. Yeah. They're just like, oh, we got testers. Oh, bollocks. You ever heard of him? I bet you haven't because you don't have any balls. Yeah, that goes on for a while. And then eventually they get on the topic of relationships with other cats. And the cat named Pukey, yep, his name is Pukey, big thumbs up there, he starts discussing his relationships because apparently he is the only cat in the room that has actually managed to be with another female cat. She was blind and deaf, but he went to town on her. And so, to show off what he's done with his thing, he lifts up his leg and shows his kitty cat, to say the least, his kitty snake. And they all stare at it, and he's all like, yeah, it looks so awful because I went inside of a hedgehog, you feel me? I grabbed Sonic the Hedgehog and said, gotta go fast, and just pounded that thing. And so it's a little bit torn up. Mind you, this is like the only things they've been talking about in the episode for like the first 4 minutes is just balls, getting down and dirty with another cat. It's great. And then they start LARPing, even though they're already LARPing. The Ricky Gervais cat, he is all like, oh, well, I want to know how you talk to a woman, Pukey. I'm going to close my eyes and pretend that I'm the blind cat that you fancy. Ooh, now seduce me. And, you know, Pukey, he goes all the way in that seduction method. All the way. He's all like, would you like to f*** me, baby? Yep. Thrilling. That was great. And then they just keep on LARPing for a while with his eyes closed. It goes on for a very long time, and that's great. And so they are walking, and they're gonna go and meet Pukey's kids, and they meet them, and it is a pretty boring scene, I can't even lie. They meet the kids, and they're all like, wow, those kids are normal. And then Pukey decides to talk about his life philosophy, where the only thing that really matters is getting your horniness taken away by any means necessary. Anything that has a heartbeat is fair game. And so he starts talking about what he does to the fish. The ones that swim, he starts discussing what he does to those guys. He puts his little kitty cat, yep, that's what I'm calling it, into the water and puts worms on it so that a fish will latch on. You know, it's just swimming along, and then it's like, oh, food. And then it goes like, yeah, catch my drift.
And put its lips over my And they can't get away because of the barbs.
And you eat it.
No, I don't eat it. No, I get a off of it.
Yeah, he wants to get a good old-fashioned job from a fish. And that conversation goes on for a very long time, and I mean a very, very long time. And you could guess, after one of the stupidest conversations that I've ever heard, what do they followed up with? Something deep and introspective, where Ricky Gervais' cat, he goes to see his mom. And honestly, it's a very sad conversation where he's talking to his mom. He doesn't really seem that interested in his mom, but his mom is clearly old. She's not eating, she's lost weight, she's dying, and their conversation is very light. They don't discuss a lot, but it still carries weight for just the way that they are. It's just, he loves his mom, he wants to see his mom, but what is he going to talk to his mom about? I don't know. It was kind of sad in that way. It was very odd. And then just immediately after that scene that honestly made me feel a little bit sad, it's just Ricky Gervais being all like, yeah, being old is bollocks. Oh my God, it's so bad. Your ass, it'll be hanging out 10 feet behind you, just dragging on the floor, dragging on the ground. Like, it's not a bad show. Like, I could see a lot of people liking this. I would honestly recommend you giving it a shot, but it's just very weird, the order of operations with how the comedy and the deep parts flow in the series. It's just very weird. It doesn't really give you much time to breathe with anything. So he then sees the female cat that he's interested in crying, and so he goes there, and the boyfriend cat sees him, and he's all like, oh yeah, we're gonna fight now. We're gonna fight right now, bro.
Little prick. Take that. Ow. Oh,
Okay.
And I get like the stupidest, worst animated fight I've ever seen in my entire life. It's pretty pathetic. He just gets pounded into the ground for a while. It is, really pathetic, nothing special about it, even remotely. And then the female cat, after he gets beaten to a bloody pulp, is like, oh God, I think I like you. I think you're so good and pathetic in a way, but like so handsome. Ooh. So yeah, they like each other now. They're probably going to enjoy each other later on in the episode. Fall in love, you know, all that good stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just getting so excited. Love. Oh my God. Yeah, so they're going to fall in love later. Then they walk on home. And the kitten's all like, I wish I was never born. And Ricky Gervais, at the end of the episode, once again, gives a deep, impactful, meaningful speech about living life. And it's honestly pretty good. Never say you wish you weren't born, because being a cat is awesome. And that caps off this episode. And I'm not like other YouTubers where I'm just going to watch the entire series if I'm not having the most amazing time. I mean, sometimes I will when the people truly want it. I'm just going to stop here because I kind of get the theme, I get the messaging, I can see where it's heading. It has this deep introspective vibe to it that is enjoyable. All of the things that they talk about, whether it's from the perspective of a cat or just in general, it's actually deep and can teach you a lot of life lessons that are really fun. Like, I could see people having a rough time enjoying this show, liking the silliness of it, liking the banter between the cats, liking those deep moments, and truly enjoying it. Comedy-wise, it is not the best. Their banter is entertaining, but the majority of the time it just always feels like the conversations go on for way too long and they're never really going anywhere. Whether it's talking about Pukey being all like, oh yeah, I have the fish and I make sure that it puts its dirty little fish lips on my little kitty cat and I get a nice blowy. I mean, what can I say? What can I say? Like, I really like it when the fish grabs onto there and just starts a sucking, you know? Like, conversations like that go on for a long time. Conversations about the most meaningless stuff ever, like balls or cobwebs and whatnot, they go on for a very long time. But then again, they're cats. I mean, do I really care? Maybe this is what cats would converse about. I don't know. Their banter is entertaining, but it's not funny. At least to me. Some of the I haven't laughed since the first episode. It's not bad. I could watch the entire show and I would probably give this show an overall like 6 out of 10. But it just doesn't really do it for me in a way where I would want to continue watching it and continue to keep getting down and dirty with all these cats. Overall, not bad, not the worst, but you know, it's a show that exists. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. yeah. See you guys in the next one. Bye.